Welcome to the Airbnb Roadmap, the podcast designed to navigate you through the entire journey of short-term rental success. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your hosting game to the next level. My husband and I became super hosts within just months of launching our first Airbnb and have proudly kept that title ever since. With over 350 reviews and an overall 4.95 star ratings, we picked up a hack or two I'm excited to share with you. In each episode, I break down the strategies, insights, and industry secrets that set profitable short-term rentals apart. From choosing the right property, understanding local regulations, and obtaining your listing to go beyond just the basics. I'm here to share everything you need to succeed. So if you're ready to map out your path to Airbnb success and unlock the full potential of short-term rentals, join me on the Airbnb Roadmap. Your journey starts here. Hey, I'm Brittany Wenninger with Porch Realty, powered by Real Broker LLC. And today's episode is pretty much how did I get to where I am, and me telling you the full story. If you are wanting just like how-to guides of like how to manage, how to find one, like find a short-term rental, how to run the numbers, this is not going to be the episode. If you are looking for one of those episodes, literally click on any other episode. Like every single episode is a how-to guide, except for this one. And side note, like, so funny. I was looking at my microphone right before hitting start for this, and I was like, wow, like, why is my microphone not really like picking up the voice? Like, what the hell is going on? I realized that my microphone was off. Yes, it was off, which means that the last episode with Carrie, the microphone was off for that one too. And that makes sense because I was like, wow, like my voice is like super echoey right now. Like, what's going on? And that's because my damn microphone was off. And whoever created this fancy microphone, like, come on, because there's a blue light that's on. I thought that when the blue light is on, that means that the microphone's on. But no, the microphone was off, the blue light was on, and I totally got bamboozled. Microphone is on. We're good to go, folks. And also, we have found another property to make into a short-term rental, which is super exciting. We are partnering up with some friends from Texas, and I'm not going to give you all the details quite yet because I don't want to jinx it. So that will be a future episode of all about that property, which is really cool. It's a 2-for-1 deal. If you're wondering what that means, I'll tell you in another episode, but this one is all about my life story. And I will admit, this is take number 4. Yes, take number 4. And you're like, Jesus, Britt, trust me, I'm saying the same thing. And I think it's because it's like, how do I tell you guys where, like how I got to where I am without, telling you all the details. So if you get bored of this episode, honestly, you can just skip it. But it's actually really interesting because my game plan was never real estate. Never. Like, never even thought about it. Never even, like, crossed my mind. Never even was like, I want to become a real estate agent or an investor. That was just, like, not a thing. But let's actually take it down a notch. I grew up near Gurnee, Illinois. Gurnee has Six Flags, so that is probably where you are recognizing that name. Six Flags Great America is where Gurnee is located. Yes, Six Flags was literally my daycare, 9 to 5 over the summers, and it was pretty awesome, not gonna lie. All the neighbors kind of like took turns to drop off the kids. It was really great. Do I still love roller coasters? I do. I don't love the lines though. So I think if I go back to Six Flags, I would probably pay for one of those like fast passes. But yeah, just good old Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. That's where I grew up. But anyways, from there, I went to UW-Platteville and graduated with a business degree and minor in entrepreneurship because honestly, I knew I wanted to build something. What that was, no clue. No clue at all. At the time, I was thinking like becoming a event coordinator. So planning weddings, corporate events, all the events, because I thought that would be super fun. And I actually got a part-time job as a event coordinator with a company called Cherry Blossom Events, which they do amazing work. But I went to Madison because of that. They offered me this job. I was like, heck yeah, this is what I want to do. Moved to Madison, and then realized that, this job was kind of like every other weekend, and then it kind of got to be every weekend of running these events. And, I realized that that wasn't really my passion, because there was this one wedding, and this was at Bishop A in Madison, and it was on the lake. All of my friends were literally on the boat having a grand old time. It was gorgeous weather, and they drove past the event on the boat. They told me about it. They was waving to me and all that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? All of my friends are having fun on the weekends, and I'm here literally 15-hour shift working this event. Like, that's not what I thought that it would be. While I was doing that job, though, I did go full time as a front desk person at a hotel. And that's kind of what stemmed the whole loving the hotel industry. And I was like, oh, I love figuring out why people are coming, because most of the time they were happy. Sometimes they were sad because it was someone passing or something like that. But overall, I loved the hotel industry, and that was all fine and dandy, but it didn't really pay the bills. So working in that hotel job and being part-time with Cherry Blossom Events, doing event coordinating, still wasn't paying the bills. So I got a job at a place, I'm not going to say a name, but I was pretty much a operational and sales manager for a janitorial cleaning service. So I would go to these companies and pretty much pitch them on why they need janitorial cleaning in their company. And if they were interested, I would go around, I'd figure out the square footage and give them a quote. Well, while I was there, if the company already had the cleaning, I would go and inspect the cleaning. So I would go into guy bathrooms and figure out if it was dusty on top of the stalls. I would look underneath the urinals and see if there was pee marks. It was so gross. I'm giggling about that because I was like, what the hell was I doing? That was not why I went to college. That's not, why did I even get that job? I'm not really sure. Well, I do. The guy offered me a good salary at the time and was like, this is your base salary, you can earn commission on top of that. And I was chasing the money. I was like, at the end of the day, I have to make money, so I'm just gonna do whatever and just suck it up. Well, that was not a good attitude to have at all, because I literally would come home bitching about work all day, every day. Every single day was a new reason for me to just complain. And pretty much I had amazing friends at the time. Well, I just have amazing friends, period. So I had the friends, I had the amazing boyfriend, I had the amazing rent. Well, we were renting a house on Lake Mendota. How awesome is that? So everything was good except my job. I hated it so much. My boss was very verbally abusive, and he would just scream at you. He broke his laptop one time. He threw chairs. He was a really shitty boss, really crappy. And do I regret working there? No, because he made me realize how important it is to love your job. And he taught me what not to do if I am being a boss of someone or managing someone, how to not treat them. But while I was working there, I was thinking about starting up my own company. This company was not from Porch Realty. It was not real estate related. And this was something that no one even knew about me, pretty much, is that in high school, I worked at a company called Ceramics for You. It was a paint-your-own-pottery studio. I loved it. Loved that job. I literally volunteered every single Christmas day to go to the studio and just do a nice little like refresh and clean it. My job, or the owner of the company, Tracy Schultz, she would like literally be like, Britt, what are you doing? Like, I can't afford you, working here 10 hours today. Like, that's not in my budget. Like, why are you at the studio cleaning? You should be like, spending time with your family. But Christmas Day, we never did anything. We always did stuff on Christmas Eve. So I was like, Tracy, like, I'm literally just volunteering my work right now. Like, you don't have to pay me. I just love being here. And, the adult me really missed that, really missed enjoying going to work, not thinking that was actually work, and, just waking up happy. And I woke up happy whenever I knew I was working at Ceramics for You. So I was like, all right, like, that was my happy place. Let's get that back. And I looked at the time, Clay was just my boyfriend. Looked at him and I was like, I want to start my own paint-your-own-pottery studio. And he was so supportive. And I was like, perfect. Boyfriend supportive. I pretty much managed a studio when I was 16. Like, I know what I'm doing. I just need to start it up. So I reached back out to Tracy, and Tracy and I, like, we were always close. So I called her and I was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Can you help me? Like, kind of like be my mentor. And she's like, absolutely. And I was looking at studios. So going all around Mass and looking at studios, and I just giggle because now that I'm in the industry, like, there was just so much I did not know at the time. A guy reached out to me. I think his name is like Garrett or something like that. And he was like, hey, I know that you're looking for a commercial space. I can help you out. I have a really, really, really fancy software program that will tell me pretty much like where all the amazing spaces are if you hire me. And I was like, oh my God, like, you have this crazy software that can help me? Like, absolutely, I will hire you as the person that helped me. Like, I didn't even know what his title was. He was just a guy that called me. And I now know that really quote unquote fancy software was literally the MLS. Like, come on. Like, now I know it, but like at the time I was like, oh my God. Anywho, he was helping me find space, and Clay would tour it with me. I remember one time I found the space I loved, and we were standing outside of the building, pretty much like side holding each other and saying like, this is my dream. I'm going to create this space into a paint-your-own-pottery studio. This is what I want to do. And I also I created like a business plan and all that stuff. And looking back, like, I really had no money, maybe like $10,000, maybe. And could I really like create a whole studio for $10,000? No, not at all. So looking back, I was like, how do I even think I was actually going to do that? And plus, I would have to be at the studio because I had no money to like pay anyone. I would have to be at the studio from like 9 a.m. because that's the time I was thinking I was going to open, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day. Like, that didn't really, looking back, like, that would honestly feel like jail to me. Like, staying in a building for that long every single day because I had no money to like pay for employees. Anywho, I was very close of signing that lease without even knowing like how to do shit. Very close of signing the lease, and I was still working at said company. So I was like pretty much going to sign the lease and then quit. And then COVID hit. And I am so, so thankful that COVID hit. Looking back on it, I would not have been where I am today if I would have signed that lease. One, I would have been SOL, like literally screwed because I would have to pay money. I'm sure there's like ways out, but yeah, that would have sucked hard. And COVID hit, and I was like, wow, like, I shouldn't open up a studio right now. Everyone's actually shutting down. But I still want to do this paint your own pottery idea. So I started to, well, first off, I got a kiln from my uncle, because he used to be an art professor. Got a kiln, and I was going to install it in the basement. Clay's uncle installed all the electricity for it, and he still makes fun of me because he was like, oh, like, how's that kiln? And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Like, that never actually happened. But I was actually painting mugs for people and would sell them. Well, shout out to Tim, my buddy Tim. He has 4 daughters who I actually really want them to be on the podcast because like their story is so amazing. But anyways, he bought 4 mugs from me, and I had to do like a custom mug for each of his daughters. But he kind of supported like the whole dream of mine to have a paint your own pottery studio, because my idea was to paint these mugs, sell them, and then get up, or like wait until COVID was done and then start up the studio. Well, I was painting the mugs, and then our lease was ending at the house that we had on the lake. And Clay was like, hey, like, is it time for us to like get a house together? Like, are we serious? I'm like, I guess that we're serious. Like, I shouldn't say I guess. Like, we were definitely serious, but it was like, it was a big moment of like, we had been renting a house together with roommates. Is it time for us to get our family home? Like a home that we want to raise our kids in. So yeah, it was a big deal. So I was like, that's scary, but let's do it. So we found a house that we liked on Zillow. And this one guy showed up to this house. No idea who he was. Just an agent from Zillow. And his name was David May. Well, David May is a big character in my life, like in my storybook, because he was my mentor. And when he showed us all these houses, I just kept on thinking, I was like, wow, like, I kind of like this. Like, I like seeing other people's homes, not to be creepy, but it's fun looking other people's homes and seeing how they decorate and all that stuff. I like the contracts. Like, I like, the paperwork and chit-chatting with people. Like, I think I like this. So I reached out to him after we bought our family home, and I was like, David, could you meet me for coffee? I want to talk about how I can get into real estate. And we met for coffee. He told me all the good things, all the bad things. And literally a month later, I got my real estate license and was like, all right, like, now what, David? And he was like, oh my God, like, you're already done? I was like, yeah, I pretty much like locked myself in the bedroom. I didn't tell anyone I was getting my real estate license, because if I would have failed that test, I think I would have felt embarrassed. So that's why I didn't tell anyone. I just like literally was hiding out for a month, took the test, and passed it the first time. And I was like, oh, well, that was cool. So I was like, David, I'm done. What do I do now? Well, he was on a real estate team, and I interviewed with them. I'm terrible at interviews because I have too much energy at interviews, and that can come off as very immature. I think at the time I was still pretty immature, but they actually voted me no. They were like, nope, she can't join the team. So I was like, oh, well, thanks, guys. And I was still showing up to that office because I was part of their brokerage, EXP. And I was still showing up to the office because they were with the brokerage as well. So I was like trying to like figure out the whole like independent agent shenanigans by myself. And then the owner, Joe Ferraro, she met me and she was like, why is this girl not on our real estate team? And everyone's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, come on, guys, you do know. Like, you told me no because I was immature. Anywho, join the team. And I was like, damn, like, this is awesome. Super excited about life. And I quit my, well, actually, I didn't quit. They actually laid me off because of COVID. So Clay was sick with COVID. So I had to obviously like quarantine for 2 weeks. He actually called me into the office because he needed to lay me off that day, the first day of the month. So that was kind of funny because I was like, I knew it was coming. I was like, hell yeah, like I get unemployment and all that stuff. Like, I don't even like this job anyways. But yeah, so going back, join the Ferraro real estate team. Love that team. They literally backbone of my real estate career. No complaints. Amazing. Well, they told me I'd join the team at one of their team events. It was a Valentine's Day team event, and met this one guy named Michael Ferraro. And he talked to my husband and told him about a podcast called BiggerPockets. Well, Clay then was like, oh, let me listen to it. He listened to it. He tried getting me into it. I wasn't really about it. I was just like, sorry, does not interest me. But it really piqued his interest in long-term investing. And he came up with this whole PowerPoint on how we need to become landlords. We need to invest in long-term investment opportunities and properties and whatnot. And he gave me this huge binder of eviction forms, leases, literally everything, anything. It's in the binder. And he gave me this binder. He was presenting this whole PowerPoint on our TV. Our dog was even watching him present it to me. And I was like, the whole time I was like, I love that he put all this effort into it, but it's not sexy to me. I don't want to be a landlord. It just didn't seem fun, to be honest. And I was learning at the time to just follow my gut, and my gut was not saying to go into long-term investing. And again, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But for me, I was like, I have a hospitality background. I loved the hotel business. This is I learned from said company that I shouldn't just chase the money. And because I learned that so early on, I knew that just because money might be good doesn't mean I should chase it. Are you knee deep in renovations for your Airbnb and need a boost to keep you going? Look no further. Aloha has you covered with a clean, delicious protein bar that fuels your day without weighing you down. My husband and I are huge fans. Aloha protein bars are our daily go-to, especially when we're busy with projects. Unlike those protein bars that are literally just like candy bars that leave you feeling sluggish, Aloha plant-based protein bars are made from simple organic ingredients you can trust. Each bar tastes incredible and keeps us energized and ready to tackle whatever the day throws at us, renovations included. And guess what? You can get 20% off your first purchase with the code The Airbnb Roadmap. That's 20% off feeling great and eating clean with Aloha protein bars. Head over to aloha.com and use the code The Airbnb Roadmap today. These links are also in the show notes, so make sure to click on that and get your protein bars. So I was like, nah, sorry, took all this time and effort to convince me. I'm going to say no on that one. So I was like, let me figure out another way to invest and kind of get into real estate investing, but something that we both like, because I wanted to be involved. I didn't want him to just take over everything. I wanted to be involved as well. So I did some research and I was like, I really like Airbnb. I don't know how to get one at all, but I like it. Read the books, watch the YouTube videos. I was a self-learner, and then I presented it to him and I was like, hey, Airbnb, I think that this is the way to go. I like it. You still get your investment opportunity. Let's do this. And he was like, I know nothing about Airbnb. And I was like, yeah, same. Now I'm kind of talking about my whole life story on this podcast right now. I'm learning that I really jump into things without actually knowing how to do them. Kind of like the paint-your-own-pottery studio and a lot of other things in my life. Interesting. Anywho, so I didn't know what we were doing. We did not have a lot of money, but we still wanted to invest. And we found this one property. We still have it. Found this one property and this is funny. Went to tour it, got a little sparkle in his eyes, and he was like, I want it. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Very first investment, super excited. We had to go to his friend's wedding, and I was like, Clay, we have to get an offer in. I'm sorry, it's the day that it's your friend's wedding, but we have to do it. I need Wi-Fi. Let's stop at Dunkin' Donuts. I can quickly write this offer and then we can go to the wedding. Well, he was super, super, super pissed off at me because I was only maybe 3 months into real estate and I didn't know how to write an offer really fast. Now I can like write an offer within like 10 minutes. But at the time it took me like 30, 35, 40 minutes. Especially like my own. Like I want to make sure it's right. So it took a little bit longer than I should have. And Clay hates being late. And he's like, oh my God, we are literally going to walk in during the ceremony and be like those people. And I was like, I'm sorry, like we have to get this offer in or else we're not going to get this property. You love this property. Well, we got the offer in. And did we show up on time for the ceremony? Yes, literally 30 seconds before. Like the whole wedding party was lined up. So we walked past the wedding party and everyone was making fun of us. Like, oh, like, look at Clay being late. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, he's already pissed off at me. But they actually ended up accepting it 4 hours after we submitted, which is still funny because she made it sound like that we were competing with a lot of people and then they accepted it like right away. And they're like, oh, yeah, accepted. I was like, I don't think that we were competing, but whatever, we got it. And then we renovated that property. We added kayaks, like did the whole shebang. And our second one, we didn't think that we were going to get a second one right away. It was an amazing property, amazing price. I was like, WTF, we need to get this property. We're kind of still strapped for money. So we actually found a investor that borrowed us a lump sum of money and said that we just have to pay him back within 2 years. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we borrowed this money, added some more money from the first, like the revenue from the first property. We took that money, put it into the second one, and then we got under contract for that one. That one was very chaotic. That, if you listen to the episode about the STR loans, that is the one that it was just a lot. It was so many things went wrong with that one. But yeah, go listen to the episode. It's wild. I'll share it in the show notes. But anywho, overall, got the house, closed on it. And then from there, we took like a 1 year waiting period just because, life got busy. I got pregnant and pretty much like I was 3 months pregnant. And Clay's like, we need another property. I was like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, if we don't get the third Airbnb, I think that we're going to stop investing overall and we can't stop. Like, I don't want to stop. I was like, oh, you're exhausting, but I love you and let's do it. So we found the third one. I was 3 months pregnant and pretty much we used the money from the first and second property, like the revenue that we got, and that paid for our third property. I already paid off the investor that borrowed us money. I already kind of paid that off, so we were good with that. And then we used the rest of the money and purchased the third one. That one was really easy. That one was a secondary home loan. The first property was a secondary home loan as well. So that one was pretty easy. We renovated it and now it's up and running. And yeah, now we are under contract with the fourth and fifth property. And that one is with a partner. So that is kind of the life story. I had no idea I was going to go into real estate when I graduated college. I thought that I was going to become a wedding coordinator. And then the wedding coordinator kind of turned into just chasing money, doing any job that gave me good money. And then I went into paint-your-own-pottery studio, which no one knows about because I don't go and share everything in that. Like, I have a love for throwing on the wheel, like making mugs and vases and bowls and plates and all that stuff. I love that. If there are studios in Madison that I can sign up and do it. It's like literally like $150 a month to sustain this membership. So it's an arm and leg, and I don't think I have time to do that, to be honest. to make that money worth it. But it's still, like, it's a passion of mine. I love doing it. I'm really good at it, like creepishly good at throwing on the wheel. But yeah, fun fact of me, I like pottery. But yeah, so wedding coordinator, went from that to chasing money to wanting to own a paint-your-own-pottery studio, and then becoming a real estate agent, and then real estate investor. And another big part and why you guys are all listening is because 2 years ago is when I decided to leave that team and start up my own company called Porch Realty. And I would say 6 months into that, I realized something was taking me another direction. It wasn't that I didn't like real estate. I still love real estate. But, it's one of those things that, like, I didn't enjoy actively marketing my services and, like, making those stupid TikTok videos of dancing and, like, dancing in front of houses and in houses and, being like, oh, let me be your buyer agent. I'm going to do a goofy ass dance. Like, that's not me. And that kind of drives me nuts that that's, like, what people are doing. And, like, I don't see attorneys making stupid ass dances and saying, like, use me to, draft up documents. Like, I don't see that. Like, I feel like it's only real estate agents, and maybe it's just me seeing it because, like, I'm so engulfed in it, but it drives me nuts. Anywho, 6 months into me launching Porch Realty, I was like, I need to follow my passion. And my passion is Airbnbs, short-term rentals. And I was like, why don't I make my whole real estate career be about Airbnbs and short-term rentals? Like, why don't I niche down? And that's what I did. I was like, F it. I'm just going to niche down, do what my passion is. If people love it, they would hire me. If they don't, I don't care. Like, then they're not my people. But ever since I niched down, I just found my purpose. I wake up extremely happy every single day. I get little twinkles in my eyes whenever someone's, like, talking about Airbnb. I'm like, ooh, yeah, tell me more. Like, how can I help you? And not like, how can I help you? You need to hire me. But, like, how can I help you genuinely? Like, I love it so much that I will literally talk to anyone for hours about Airbnb. I had this one woman reach out to me, and it was just supposed to be like a 15-minute consult, trying to figure out what she wants, like what she wants to buy an Airbnb and all that good jazz. Well, it turned into an hour conversation because I just kept on talking, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm so sorry that this went so long. Like, I'm literally, like, telling you everything. And she's like, oh no, this is good. I was like, all right, again, apologies. Like, this, it's supposed to be 15 minutes, and here we are, an hour in. But that just kind of shows how much I love talking about it. And yeah, so I would say a year and a half ago, I really niched into short-term rentals. Have I been into short-term rentals for a long time? Yeah, I'm going around like 5 years. But actually, like, niching down has been about a year and a half. And I started this podcast about 9 months ago. Damn, that's wild. 9 months ago. And the reason why I started it is because so many people, were asking me basic questions about Airbnb. And I was like, I'm so sick of answering the same question over and over and over. Like, yes, I'm passionate about it. Yes, I will answer it with excitement. But, when 25 plus people ask you the same question, time to, like, make content and just say, like, hey, like, check out this episode. And then that will answer your question even more in detail than I would just answer it right now. So that was kind of like the reason why I started this podcast, is so I can tell people to just listen to episode 1, episode 2, or 3, and then they would get their answer. But it kind of did not go, it helped. Like, I do it all the time. I'm like, hey, just listen to this episode. But I feel like it's kind of getting to a place that it's more, and people are just reaching out from all over, just wanting to know how they can buy their first Airbnb and have like a very like authentic and transparent discussion about it. Because I feel like there's so many people that are like, hey, I bought one Airbnb and now I have 20. And I'm like, how the hell did you afford 20 Airbnbs within like a 2-year frame? Like, how did you do that? And I always think about like these people that did that when they probably have like a crazy job that is like making 200,000 plus. I don't even know, but they maybe have like a crazy job, or unfortunately they got inheritance money. And I say unfortunately because like someone needs to pass away for them to get that money. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I don't know. But I always think it's very unrealistic when people are like, I bought one in 2025 and in 2026 now I have 20. It's like, come on, man. I think this podcast is so great at just being very authentic and transparent about how to actually get your very first Airbnb, because it's not going to be pretty. Like my very first one, would I have invested in that area, in that market? Like if I had to do it all over again, would I be in that market? Absolutely not. Like that market it's not the best. We still have it there, but it's not the best one. But it did get our foot in the door. It got us to where we are today, because without that first one being successful, didn't drive us to get the second one. Without the second one being successful, didn't drive us to get the third one. And now the third one's doing extremely well. So now we got a partner and getting our fourth and fifth one. So everything happens for a reason. And there's a reason why we met up with David May, and he was a real estate agent, and he was very transparent. He was an amazing guy, is an amazing guy. And there's a reason why we met with him. And he kind of like took me underneath his wing and he mentored me for a year. So if we didn't, go on Zillow and look at that one random ass condo in Madison, we wouldn't have met David and, started this whole venture. And if, COVID didn't happen, I probably would be either broke and running a paint-your-own-pottery studio. Like, that's wild to me that if COVID did not happen, I would be sitting in a paint-your-own-pottery studio right now teaching people how to paint pottery. Like, that is looking at it in that light, that's not me. Do I love pottery? I do. I love it as a hobby. I don't think I would be actually happy doing that every single day, even on the weekends. So I guess moral of this whole episode, everything happens for a reason. And it's amazing. The world is a crazy place, that because one thing happened led to this. And since that thing happened, it led to this. Like, that's just mind-boggling. But you're probably like shaking your head like, oh my God, Britt, yes, of course, like chain of command, whatever. But yeah, I just think that's wild. So that is my whole life story. That is how we went from one property to probably 5 by the end of this year. Obviously, we didn't buy our first one in 2025. Our third one was bought in 2025. So we'll probably be launching 3 by the end of this year, which is wild. So wild. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my whole life story. It was kind of fun to like honestly reflect, not gonna lie, because I'm like, damn, Britt, like, what the hell are you doing? Anywho, yeah, you know how to contact me. I'm not going to say it. It's all good. But if you do actually want to learn how to start your own Airbnb, I do have a course out there that is under $500. Literally teaches you everything. And if you are like looking to invest in, let's say like Nashville, still reach out to me. I'll get you a good short-term rental agent. And if you close on your very first short-term rental, you will get that course 100% refunded back. Yes. I believe in education, and I don't believe in like price gouging you for that. So if you close on your very first short-term rental and it's with a agent that I connected you with, because, my network, then you will get that course refunded 100%. So think about that, act on that, and I will see you in the next episode of the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Airbnb Roadmap. If you're loving these episodes and want to keep the conversation going, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with someone who's ready to dive into the world of short-term rentals. Got a question or topic you would love to hear about? Reach out. This podcast is all about learning and growing together. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, for more tips, tricks, and behind-the-scene insights. Until next time, here's to turning your short-term rental dreams into thriving realities. I'll see you back here soon.